All right, man. Brad Holmes had his end of the season press conference. For the most part, most GMs don't speak until the beginning of the season or after the season. Predominantly, they speak in the offseason. Most people just think GM's job is personnel, picking the personnel, drafting guys, getting guys off season, but also they work with roster decisions on the team. So they work on the day to day thing with the conduct of the players, and you know they do all that. But shout out to Click on Detroit for having a full thing with most of what he said. Brian Holmes said at the end of his season press conference. The video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Tell Detroit Lions talk players for more videos like this. Said Detroit Lions general manager Brad Holmes held his end of the year press conference this week after the Lions wrapped up the season with the win last week. Holmes, who finished, let me see, I can zoom in again. Hold on. All right. Holmes, who finished his first season at the helm, talked about various topics and offered plenty of hints about where the team is going next season and beyond. Here are some takeaways. So, like I said, this is what they do. This is what this is what they do, bro. As you know, they talk at the end. They don't talk during the season. Don't know historically why that is, but it is what it is. She said Holmes complimentary of Jared Goff. Lions quarterback had a rough start to the Lions tenure, but in the second half was much improved in the final six games. Goff with 3-2-1 and threw only 2 interceptions. He said, quote, I can't say enough about his resiliency. Holmes said about Goff, the mental toughness and physical toughness, his resiliency. You talk about will, talk about grit. That's why he fits from the very get-go. He has some adversity that he had to fight through, and I give him all the credit in the world that he stayed the course. And some tweaks were made, some changes were made, some reinforcement players emerged, but he played really good football. I mean, you can't say that with a straight face, bro. You can't say that with a straight face, man. He didn't play really good football, bro. Even in the win versus Minnesota, he didn't get the fourth down. People don't. I just from the outside looking in, this shit look easy, bro. I really do. I just think it just look easier. The way they make it seem, bro. The shit is easy, dude. Picking talent. No, the quarterback, find a quarterback. You know that might be the toughest thing. But the rest of this man is easy. He can't play, and if you can't see Jared Goff can't play, I don't know what to say. And it wasn't a surprise that he played good football. I guess because of my history with him, I seen him play some of his best football. So that wasn't a surprise. But I was more proud that he showed resiliency, mental toughness to push through. And he played good football for at least a half a season. Well, he getting $30 million. That's his job. He didn't do a good job, bro. He was terrible this year. You know what I'm saying? And he had a great run game behind him. His offensive line was solid due to all the injuries, and he had a solid defense. He had a really good special teams. Come on, what are we watching? Now you gotta say these things, but like I said before, the Lions not taking the quarterback. He gonna make the same mistake that Bob Quinn make. I guarantee you, bro. They gonna, Goff gonna play shitty next year, right? And y'all gonna get your expectations up. It's gonna be the same thing. He's gonna play shitty, and then at the 2023 draft, after they use some of their assets up, they're gonna be rushing looking for a quarterback. It's not, man. I could be the best GM. I could be better than what the Lions had because it's common sense. Said 3 wins is never going to be good enough. Holmes said he was happy with how the season ended, with the Lions winning 3 of their last 6 games, but he knows that it's not good enough moving forward. Quote, I love how the season ended, but the reality is we won 3 games, and that's not good enough, and it never will be good enough. Quote, it's hard to practice the patience at times to stick with the plan, but it's a multi-year plan. It's for sustained success, and I believe we did lay the foundation down, Holmes added. Holmes also said he and head coach Dan Campbell were happy with the play time and development they were able to get out of several young players. Quote, we're going to let these guys play. A lot of it was by circumstance. A lot of it we didn't have a choice certain times, Holmes said, but quote, continue quote, but I will say when we got hit with some adversity, whether it was injuries or other stuff, I have a let's call it available free agent board with veterans that would be available to come in and help. And we stuck with our plan, and we let these young players play and get valuable experience. Holmes pointed out that 6 of the draft picks of 2021 class became starters along with free agents like Jerry Jacobs, A.J. Parker, who played well for Lions defense. He praised rookie Panisa Will and Rod St. Brown, who had an outstanding rookie campaign. Quote, he's a culture fit for what we're all about, Holmes said about St. Brown. Quote, I think everything just kind of clicked for him kind of late, but we always knew he had the intangibles and the work ethic, and he's just a pro's pro in the way that he's wired. That equated to a lot of his success at the top of his physical ability. Shout out to Randall L for getting them together. You know what I'm saying? He did a great job getting them together. So we did click. And then shout out to Jared Goff. He said he wanted to make them to his Cooper Cup. And somewhat he on the way to that. Not saying to be next year. Year after next year is to take the good as Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup probably top 3 receivers. Some people see him as the best. Work with Dan Campbell. Joy. The working relationship between Holmes and Campbell appears to be going well. Quote, there's so many great things I can say about Dan, but I'll sum it up. He's got an it factor that you either have it or don't. And he has that, Holmes said. Quote, he's been a joy to work with. Holmes said they face adversity in the same way and help them push through the days after losses. Quote, it can't be tough. It can't be tough losses on Sunday. I'm driving to work Monday saying, can't wait to get started for the week. Then I see Dan, and Dan's like, we're about to score 30 points this week, and that's just how we are, Holmes said. Priorities for the offseason. Okay, he said the Lions will have the second pick in the draft in the spring, and they'll have 3 picks in the top 34, which means it'll be a big opportunity to add talent. The Lions will be one of the teams coaching the Senior Bowl a few weeks from now. Holmes said there'll still be plenty of work to do for the draft. Quote, I think each draft is different. It truly is, Holmes said. Quote, there are some drafts that are really, really top heavy, some drafts that are not, some drafts that are better or more heavier on day 2. And there are some that are more heavier on the back end. Quote, but I think all of that being sorted out, our personnel department doing a heck of a job. I think they've pretty much seen everybody. We have pretty much a good bite at it. But obviously what we're about is embark on going to provide, a lot of clarity for those guys. Holmes said that he liked to improve at the perimeter positions on both sides of the ball. The draft process as defensive end. He also they need to add depth at wide receiver and safety. So perimeter of the ball on both sides. That'd be corner receiver, right? I think that's I guess. So I guess corner or safety. I don't know what he mean by perimeter. Obviously perimeter is an outside. So I would think corner receiver. I would think they need to improve at corner. That's just my opinion. A receiver definitely, but it's not a lot of work to be done in receiver. You just need a number 1 guy. You know what I'm saying? But he said add depth to receiver and safety. So Kyle Hamilton, it depends what the dude on Ohio State do. Then they also got some great compensatory picks and players they can package up. A lot of people, like I said, trade DeAndre Swift. I'm just not finding guys who get injured in the first couple of years of the league. And I think the Giants think about the same thing. Flip it, Saquon Barkley. He ain't worth paying. Both tremendous talents. With those type of helps, they probably need to be on teams to win now. But I mean, yeah, everything he said, cool. He gonna be kind of coy about some of these things and this, that, and the third. But okay, they signed in Eric Weddle back, the Rams, for the playoffs. So I mean, he also talked about Levi Onwuzurike, and said that he still believes in him and Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes switched the whole position. Let me say that. Derek Barnes switched the whole position. He went from an outside pass rusher to the inside. I mean, come on. The growing pains are to be expected. He was a guy that you say go get him on the edge, and that's what he did. I remember I played with somebody in high school. All he did was play defensive end, outside pass. All he knew how to do. He didn't do nothing else. He knew how to catch. He didn't know how to flip his hips. He didn't know how to guard nobody. None of that, bro. His thing was he knew how to get after the passer and stop the run. That's it. And Derek Barnes, that's all he knew. It's going to take time before, years before he even, if it's possible, he can develop into an inside linebacker, or he's just going to be a football player. Got to figure that out. But he says Brown Holmes still high on Levi Onwuzurike and Derek Barnes at their rookie struggles. Me too. And then again for Levi Onwuzurike in Onwuzurike, you got to remember, I think in Washington they play a 4-3, and he was an inside 3 technique. Now you put him in a 3-4, it's a different ball game. It's a different ball game, bro. To go out there and you taking up space. Unless it's different than you have your next deep tackle right next to you, and then your defensive end. But now it's really, you put three down linemen. Now I know you got guys coming off the edge, but it's just a different ball game. You more of a space eater. And I think, and I always said this, I thought that the Lions all would benefit with this personnel, putting, sliding Anazorki in the middle, sliding McNeil in the middle, putting Romeo Hen in the dirt, and then, putting, Charles Harris in the dirt. I always said that because, it's just you had the personnel to run a 4-3 and they forced a 3-4, and it worked. It worked pretty, but in the 4-3, they was a personnel. Romeo Core, people don't talk about this. Even when he was healthy, he struggled standing up, rushing the pass. It's a different ball game. It just is. Most of them dudes used to getting off in a 4-point, 3-point stands, maybe 2-point stands, but coming off that edge is a different responsibility. You lining up a little wider than you did. You still got to keep contained, but you also got to drop in coverage, and you also, it's just different. Now you dropping. Now what I'm saying. So it's different. I prefer the 4-3. That's just me. But let's see his quote real quick. He said, I think everything just kind of clicked for him. Okay, he said it about him. Okay, he talked about Dan. We read that. Okay, so he must talk about them boys in the middle. He says, I think everything. Okay, I read that one. He said Holmes had coveted Anazorki in the draft minute after the selection. He had pondered trading back in the first round to ensure the Lions landed former University of Washington standout. He said, but early optimism was quelled by some offseason injury concern, including the back issue that sidelined him in training camp. That combined with the fact he had to acclimate to Russ after opting out his final collegiate season, had Holmes wondering how much could reasonably be expected during the Lions rookie campaign. He said, quote, Coach Dan and I thought he was going to almost redshirt player, Holmes said, a reference to the college athletes who rarely play during the early stages of development. Quote, so how well he performed down the stretch was well. It wasn't always good, but he's got a lot of stuff that he's got to work on. He's aware of it. And we were having discussions about that the other day. Quote, he's a very smart guy who's very physically gifted, and he's self-aware about what he needs to work on and heading into the offseason. Holmes continued, it's a big year, And he said, as for Derek Barnes, Detroit general manager felt slower pace development was more mental than physical. He said, quote, he was learning how to play linebacker last year, Holmes said. Then he makes the jump to the NFL, and he's still learning how to play linebacker. Now, I would say the growth when he's made from start of the season until the just past game has been tremendous. I'm encouraged by the growth that he's shown. So, like I said before, man, a lot of people had a lot of expectations. Even for Panisa Will, I kind of, even before he switched to left tackle, I told y'all the expectations, man. The expectations, kind of lower him a little bit. And for Derek Barnes, I think my man's from Mark Orm. I was on Michael Mike channel. He said, like, the thing about Derek Barnes, man, he was just learning how to play that position. Hold on. Oh, my neighbor said they lost power. Oh, let me hurry up and get this video out the way. So yeah, man. So yeah, man. That's kind of what I was kind of saying, man. Kind of threw me off a little bit. Kind of what I was saying is a situation where I kind of said it was Sewell and Levi Anazorki. Hope I said his word Anazorki. I don't know how to pronounce it. No offense. I said it's gonna take some time. You know what I'm saying? Because he missed a whole year, and then I believe like him, Joe Tron, and some of the other Washington Huskies, I believe they play a 4-3 defense. So yeah, it's difficult, bro. It's just a different ball game. Different ball game, man. You first, you get into the league, you didn't play last year, you opted out. That's his, prerogative. Then I believe it was a 4-3 in Washington. Then you go for a 3-4. It's a lot. And then you have a back injury. I think, man, I was very excited about the pick. I was very excited about some of the things I seen in preseason, but it's gonna take some time, man. But he's a hell of a football player, bro. He reminds me of Ndamukong Suh. Nasty, athletic, hands fire off athletic. So he nasty, bro. He very, very nasty guy, man. But I have to wait and see, man. But Derek Barnes switching the whole position. He learned to play linebackers last year in college. Gonna take a few years for him to kind of understand it. Then you playing 3-4 linebacker, so ain't like he gonna be on the. I mean, I don't know, man. We'll wait and see, man. See what we do. But I was encouraged by what they did this year. Hopefully they go out there and they can find a quarterback. Hopefully it's Watson or you like Pickett. We'll see how they separate themselves with the Senior Bowl. All six quarterbacks, I think, are gonna be the top 6 almost picked in the draft. So we'll see, man. Let me know what you girls and guys think. Check the Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video. Share the video. Comment. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe button, the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance of notification. Go live, drop a video. Want to make a financial donation? Cash App, $ CJ Good 313. Venmo CJ Good 313. Roll at the bottom of the screen. Both usernames in the description. PayPal link is will be there. Find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you have a business question, inquiry, response, video quest. All my social media links there. Hit me up. If you got a business question, inquiry, response, constructive criticism, whatever. Hit me up. We just want to chop it up. Appreciate the love, support.